get right to it. Sugar addiction, sugar addiction, sugar addiction. We all have some degree of a sugar addiction, whether we like to admit it or know it or not. So if you are finding that you are reaching for that next cookie, and mind you, like, subscribe, and share, and you're going to want to listen to this, because it really is the reason why you are not getting results, and you're plateauing, staying the same, or gaining even more. So I'm on the way to the gym, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym middle of the day, get some work done, and I found myself wanting to reach for chocolate covered almonds that I have. Let me know if you've done this. Like, comment down below, seriously, like, what's your favorite snack and what makes you do that? Because I literally was not hungry. I had a bowl of yogurt. I had so it was almond yogurt, so non-dairy. I put some raw honey in it. I had some raspberries and blueberries, cacao, so it was 86% cacao, and a little bit of whipped cream, sugar-free. So like 40 minutes later, I found myself reaching for these other chocolate almonds that are not cacao. They're chocolate, full of sugar. And I just was like, I'm literally not hungry. Like, I just had a nice bowl of yogurt and 2 cups of tea. Like, I'm not hungry. So those moments of like the grabbing of the chips and the snacks is what is making you not get to like that next level for yourself. And if you can figure out what works for you and your lifestyle, whether you need to get rid of the junk food in your house, get rid of sugar, or start to scale back on sugar, like each week remove 1 junk food item out of your cupboard. All of the pancakes, the sugary pancake mixes, the sugary oatmeal, like even all the like the oatmeal, the yogurt is all sugar free. It's all just plain. And then I determine how much sweetness goes into it with the honey. And what people usually say is like, well, it just tastes nasty. Like I just don't like it. And you just kind of have to sit with yourself. Like, especially, I'm going to be honest, like if you're, and I'm talking to myself, I was that person. So when I say this, like, I hope that you know that I'm saying this with like coming from a place of love, in the fact that I want everybody to understand, just get more educated and understand what's actually happening when we intake these things. So the sugar is an addiction, and if you're like, well, stuff just tastes nasty, you have to really look at yourself as an adult and just say, look, I have to make some changes, because I'm going to end up being pre-diabetic. I am end up going to have high blood pressure. I am going to end up, getting worse and worse brain fog. That's what sugar does. And people just continue to drink and eat it, like myself. But because I know I'm going to do it, I have just significantly reduced the amount that I do it. I can genuinely say I am living in an 80-20 rule split with my sugar. So some days it's just no sugar, not even including fruit. On another day, I might have a sugary type of fruit, like a mango. There's a lot of sugar in it. It's amazing. There's a lot of nutrients in it as well. But the next day, maybe it's a holiday event, I'm just eating whatever. And then the next day, no sugar. And you have to do what you have to do. So for me, I have apple cider vinegar pretty much every morning. Not every single morning, because not everybody needs to it's very acidic, so not everybody needs to be taking it. But there was a time period when I really was trying to get rid of my sugar addiction, where I had it every single morning, just a little bit smaller than a teaspoon, in some warm water, and I would have that every morning on an empty stomach. Now I do it like 4 times a week. Look it up from professionals, bodybuilders that do this, okay? It helps control your blood sugar. So a lot of us don't even know what blood sugar is. I didn't even understand what it was until this year. Like, My entire life, I have never really understood what blood sugar was, and I thought it was something that old people dealt with. So you have to do what you have to do. If you are waking up and you know you just slaughtered off a bunch of cheesecake and cookies and pasta that processes the sugar in the body as well, your blood sugar is spiking out of control. And all that's doing is making you crave more. When your blood sugar spikes, and there's pretty much 90% of the food that we eat makes your blood sugar spike out of control. So that's why you have to eat foods like whole foods, meaning fresh, most fruits, vegetables, and whole grains that spike your blood sugar just a little bit and not spike it a lot. So number one, got to get educated on blood sugar. So right after you listen to me, if you've made it this far, I hope you did, because if you did, that was a W. Because I'm telling you, if you learn about blood sugar, you just type in blood sugar on YouTube. There's so many amazing videos with cartoons and like a really easy breakdown on how to understand it. Research that, number one. Number two, research apple cider vinegar and physically go get some. Of course, consult with your doctor, all that stuff, but apple cider vinegar is kind of like one of those things that's like in every person's cupboard. Like it's not, like 99% of the time it's not bad for somebody, but if you know that you're sensitive to stuff like that, obviously don't take it. But you be the judge on that. Just that's the disclaimer there. But apple cider vinegar to help neutralize the blood sugar. So if you have a sugary breakfast, number one, when you have the apple cider vinegar in the morning, it's just so potent and tastes it's just so gross that you kind of just are like, oh, everything kind of just like, I kind of wanted to stay away from everything for a little bit. And then when you finally eat something sugary, it's not spiking it out of control. It just spikes it, there's studies that have shown, and you can look this up, that your blood sugar will still spike, but it doesn't spike super out of control. It keeps it like at a neutral level. That doesn't mean drink a bunch of apple cider vinegar and then have 5 donuts. It doesn't work like that. So don't go too crazy, and you can't even have that much apple cider vinegar. Honestly, it will like mess up your gut lining if you have way too much. So just be very, very smart and mature with the way that you are taking apple cider vinegar, and don't abuse it like, oh, well, it'll help me with my sugar craving, so I'm just gonna blast it off every day. No, make sure you're researching the right doses. For me, it was smaller than a teaspoon, just a little bit. Like I wouldn't fill it all the way up. I would just fill it like where it was like there was still like a layer around the liquid, if that makes sense, a layer in the spoon around the liquid left. So definitely, get educated on blood sugar, get you some apple cider vinegar, start taking it daily if you have a sugar addiction. Also implement green juices. I can't afford it. Yes, you can. If you're buying Starbucks, you can buy a green juice. If you go to 99-cent store, Dollar Tree, or even like at Whole Foods. I was at Whole Foods, and a lot of their stuff is like, it's like 1 or 50 cents to $1 more than like Ralph's. And Ralph's is like a I don't know, depending on where you're at in the country, because I'm in California, there's a lot of Ralph's, Vons. So I think, I'm not really sure what the equivalent of that is everywhere else, but it's just a basic grocery store. Now, Whole Foods, Sprouts, those are more like, there's going to be more of a variety of healthy foods. And then Erewhon is a very, like, very healthy grocery store. So research in your area, healthy grocery stores, and you'd be surprised it's not as expensive as you think. So at least incorporate green juice to also help with the blood sugar, help with the sugar cravings. We can no longer, and again, I'm speaking to somebody here who keeps making I love food as an excuse. Well, I just love me some food. Everybody yeah, of course, your cravings love the food. Your cravings love the food. Everybody loves food. I have never met one person, let me know in the comments. I have never met one human being in my life that doesn't love food. I just have never, now we all may not like the same kinds of food, but I've never met a human being that's like, I don't like food. Like, so when people say that, like, well, I love me some food. I like to eat. Well, you have to really understand, like, okay, if you're eating out of control, or you cannot withstand going back for seconds, thirds, and fourths on insanely oil filled, meaning like fried oily food, sugary food, pastas that are not like whole grain, like, you guys know what I'm talking about. And you just have no control. And if you're like, you know what, I'm waking up today, I want to eat healthy. And then all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock comes around and you're like, ooh, what am I going to smack off for dinner? And you cannot resist getting something that you know is not going toward your goals. You have an addiction to something in the food. Because there should be nothing that like has control over us on that level to where we're just like, no, I have to get it. And if it does, it means it's an addiction. There is something inside of your system that's actually craving that food. It's not even you. It's like the other bacteria and things like that we have good bacteria in our body and bad bacteria. The bad bacteria is probably more than likely what is making you crave the food. So, I know this because I was like this. I was somebody that I still love pastries. I just know how to I am in front of it now. I am in front of that journey. I'm not behind it, thank God. But it was so bad to where one time I was like, oh, I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to bring over some pastries from this, our favorite mom and pop store or little bakery. And so she's like, okay, cool. I went and got it. I'm there. I literally bought what are they called? I don't even know because I haven't been there in so long now. They're whatever. I bought 4 pastries just for me. 4. Each one is 400 calories just for me to have in that one sitting. And then I bought her some stuff and my grandma some stuff. My grandma's no longer here, but so that was our thing. We were like, okay, cool. We're going to go to this place. So I did all that and I'd be like, and my mom would just see me slaughtering it all off. Just eating one. And these are rich. These are rich, sugar-filled, buttery-filled, flour-filled, just filled with everything not nutritious. But it's meant to enjoy and it's meant to have in a small amount, just like that, just the one. I would have 4. And I used to think I was cool. I used to think oh, well, I'm not super overweight, right? I'm not super overweight. I'm just going to hit the gym tomorrow. I'm just going to go to the sauna, hit the gym. Thank you. I took care of her for 6 years, but that's a whole nother conversation. So I was and then one day it just was I keep not getting, I keep just staying at the same level of my results. And I really had to sit with myself, why can't I why do I have to have 4? Why can't I just have 1? Why do I have to have 4 of them? And I just was I have a sugar addiction. I seriously have a sugar, and I always took naps in the middle of the day. Had to wake up, had to have coffee. So the sugar was just sucking all my energy because my cells weren't getting the proper nutrients it needed. And then I even found out that there's a couple people in my family that are skinny as heck that are pre-diabetic. And I just found that out this year. And I was like, what? You? No. I was like, there's no way. So, and it made me think why? And they're 10 years younger than me. So I was whoa, number one, I need to go get a panel ran. So I encourage everyone to do that. I'm going to do one this year. So make sure you go into 2020 or have that on your calendar for 2023. I'm going to get a panel done, look at my vitamin and mineral levels and all that stuff. We just need to know what that stuff is. And then number 2, I was okay, yeah, I gotta pull it. I have to admit to myself. So I was what do I need to do? So then I started researching, implementing, and then that's when I really got into doing 3-day juice cleanses, the apple cider vinegar, drinking a ton of water throughout the day. And then all of a sudden, someone was oh, do you want to go to Starbucks? And I was and usually it's people are like, you know, step on the gas to go. But it was like 3 or 4 weeks that went by and I didn't even think about a coffee. Didn't even think about it. And because I had reduced my sugar craving. So just all of that correlates with each other. If you're, you know, fatigue, brain fog, can't concentrate, you're not focused, you have a ton of like stubborn fat that you can't get rid of, it's due to sugar. And there's sugar in so many things. Like people just think sugar and just a donut. No, there's sugar in the white bread, the sugar in the white rice, the sugar in, and then you're having all of it. It's one thing if you have one serving of the white rice, but then when you're having the pancakes in the morning and pasta for lunch and a big bowl of white rice and fried chicken for dinner, it's like, it's just too much on the system. It all tastes amazing. I think we can all agree on that. It all tastes fantastic, but like, do you have to have all three every day? Like, can you just maybe like just have the pancakes and then the rest of the day eat very clean? And if you can't do that, if you can't resist having then pizza, like slaughtering off pizza when you just smacked off like huge pancakes in the morning filled with butter and all, there is an addiction to carbs and you have to like just admit it. It just is what it is. It's not like this, you're not doomed. It's just like it can really cause some issues in your later life. And you're going to want to be healthy in your later life. Trust me, I took care of somebody for 6 years and I got a up close everyday experience of what it is like when you really are not that healthy and what the body does when it breaks down. It is very vicious. And I would go to doctor's appointments and see other people there that were younger than my grandma and in there with all these issues in their 50s. And I mean, how can you really live your life when you're always having to go to the doctor? You're always on medications. You're always, you know, so just, I'm just really passionate about it. And it probably comes from me being a caregiver for 6 years and just realizing her dementia, because she had dementia, her dementia, it was caused by a life full of sugar, excessive beer, excessive fake, noodles that had no nutrients, like those little noodles in like the little noodle packets you could just pop in the pot, season it up, and everyone's like, oh, this is fire. Zero nutrients. It's plastic food. So and of course other things, she smoked. I mean, just a lot of things, not moving her body. So I think my passion just comes from like, it's not like because what happened was, and I'm going to actually get off here. Make sure you actually like the video if you're vibing with me. Comment down below with what you think. But before I go in the gym and get it in, I also have my Riot Energy. Check the link down below when I post this for this. It's fire. You can get a whole pack. Get a pack for the office. Get this over coffee. It's plant powered. But my grandma has first cousins. And so they're actually, her first cousins are a little bit older. And I've posted them on they're like, it's a lady dancing on my Insta or on my YouTube and on Instagram, and super sharp in the brain, super sharp. So their lifestyles were a lot different. So dementia and Alzheimer's are actually preventable. They're finding that it is actually something that you can prevent from ever actually flaring up. Even if you have the gene for it, even if it runs in your family, they are finding that lifestyle has a lot to do with why it flares up. So I think that's why I'm so adamant about it. Because I just got such a up close experience, and it is a devastating experience. And there's even during my journey with taking care of her with dementia, I would do other just research in general. And I would come across articles about 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds having dementia, Alzheimer's. I mean, so just do it. Just do not. And they're basically calling dementia now type 3 diabetes. So type 1, type 2, all has to do with sugar. And then type 3 is like headed to death, headed to a slow death. Forget the insulin, it's just headed to slow death at that point. So yeah, but definitely guys, this is just more of a reality video. It's not, I'm usually like really peppy and lovey and all that stuff. And sometimes I'm gonna have to get on here and hit everybody really. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm like, am I just talking to myself really? Like, am I just like giving myself a pep talk? But it's a reality, and it's time to take it serious, and it's time to check in. And for 2023, do not have this be the year where you're back in December next year like, dang, I still didn't hit none of my health goals. Just don't do it to yourself. So I know there's a couple people. Hello, my lady friend, Chicago. Remember me? Yes. So I hope everything has gotten a lot better, Rick Diaz. Yeah, I hope everything has gotten a lot better. Sending you blessings in abundance. I really genuinely hope that situation has either come to a close or gotten a lot better, or you've gotten help to help out with that situation. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get it in. I'm on a timeline, so definitely like, subscribe and share and tap in with me. If you are watching this on the replay, look at the links down below, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.